Toby's feeling sneezy.
Yes.
Got a plug.
Connecting to. Oops! Almost pressed Christmas jazz.
I like that it's still jazz.
I know. Hey David. Hey Pico. I am on the verge of sneezing, so I'm trying to see if
We
I can
delayed
really-
starting because he's been on the verge of sneezing this whole time.
Christmas jazz. Yes, I know. It's so weird. Eat Christmas jazz.
It's not that I don't believe you have Christmas jazz. It's just, Christmas jazz.
Oh, my nose. My nose is so acting up.
This is what we get for trying to conduct home repair right before the session.
Yeah.
Just get it out.
It's trying to. Yeah. Or maybe it's time to fight it with bottle therapy.
Oh wow, after all that drama, I missed my 8 o'clock step interval somehow. I was washing dishes because annoying.
That helps.
Oh, your is that the feely thing? What is this?
What? I have no idea what
I
that
do
is.
not understand what you are requesting, Kathnia lovers.
We have no idea what that's about, so we will just
sorry.
leave it.
So sorry. I'm not sure what you need.
Or maybe they needed a host for some event.
Or are they applying as a host?
I don't know. Sorry, we don't quite get it.
I'm going to tag you in the Facebook version of this. Oops, almost ended the video on Facebook. That would not work out well.
Very strange comments today, but I guess that's because it's a Tuesday.
Is it? Is that the reason? Wait, I need to get more water.
Okay, I still got water. Oh, I'm due for another trim.
I was thinking about that.
Hair's getting unwieldy long and greasy. At this rate, my hair can allow me to be a villain in Fifth Element. But
Oh,
yes,
wow. Year end stuff already. Yun nga eh, not month end, year end. Wowzers. But I get it because final quarter, so any last plans, you gotta lock those in now. So this is a requested episode, but I forget. I think it was an anonymous request or something. One of those things. Sell your hair oil, Toby. What? What kind of a request?
I don't use
is that?
hair oil.
No, I think the natural oils. He's suggesting that you sell it.
I do have naturally oily scalp, which if I use too much shampoo, I turn dandruffy because I think I dry out my scalp.
Something like that.
But then if I don't shower at all for a day,
I'm not happy.
I get scary hair. But if I don't shower for if I don't wash my hair for 3 days, I get fabulous hair because it's naturally bronzy.
Yeah, I think that's what the reference was. So I'm just checking stuff really quick while we're waiting. But yeah, I guess it makes little difference to start. Um, you know what? I'm
So
gonna spam one more person.
okay.
Okay. All right. Let's start. Let's start. Oh, you're sharing also.
Yeah. So let's start. This is Toby.
And this is Rocky.
And if it's your first time here, welcome to Baduy Pride, our little space on the internet where we talk about anything we want.
This is completely unscripted and not entirely accurate, but at least it's honest. Join us. We talk about everything and anything random live.
And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining us again. We are spending the next 30 minutes talking about
our jobs. Well, our careers, not just our jobs. Okay, I mean, the original question was like career, how you got started in your careers. So that should be interesting. Also, I just want to highlight how Toby likes to stress certain syllables when he's reading the introduction. But hey, we are already at 11 viewers. Hooray!
Oh, that's quick.
Hey!
Yay! We beat 10! Let's quickly say hello to the people who are here tonight, joining us.
Yeah, we saw Aina just tuned in. We have Aina and Noel are on Facebook. We see David, Pico, Urim, Kenny, Mai, all on YouTube. And that one person who is either asking for a job or is looking for hosts, we are not entirely sure.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah. So the original question was about careers, and then how about, I don't know. I guess the easiest thing to start, which may not be a career thing, is that what was the very first job you had?
Official job.
Yes, like it paid money.
Okay, that would be a colorist for Saranggola magazine.
Ooh, oh yeah, I forgot
Yes.
about that. You had a magazine thing.
Yeah, I had prior jobs, which were more, my parents having me work here and there.
Those don't
Yeah,
count.
such as, I was the Phantom Mystery caller for BPI for a few years. I was helping handle security in the village with my dad back when we used to go around Tahanan Village, and in some ways Parañaque because he was city administrator. But in terms of actual job, it was Saranggola magazine.
How old were you, or what school level were you when you were writing for Saranggola?
No, I didn't write. I did colors.
Oh, did colors. Okay,
Yeah,
when
so
was that?
This was sometime between high school and college. This was a summer stint, and it was interesting because I got a taste of the actual production process and how your work is never good enough.
I used to subscribe to Saranggola. It was one of those things that they would ask you in school, and you'd have a parental permission slip to like subscribe and stuff.
And it is
I
interesting.
always got a subscription.
I used watercolors when I was coloring stuff, and I used to try to sneak in little attempts to say it's me. So like I'll paint the guy's shirt. So I'll paint it's blue and green, but the green is a letter T and the background is blue.
Okay.
But then when the print comes out, it's just a mix of blue and green in the shirt, and they didn't really follow the pattern. So I guess they changed it. But yeah,
I don't remember it being super full color except for the covers and the inner pages.
Yeah,
were like
the inner pages usually become this grayish,
newsprint, black and white.
which you still color it. You still do full colors, but then it turns black and white.
Yeah. My first official paying job was a voiceover talent for Milo. I did a bunch of weekend sports segments for some children's show. I cannot remember whatever it was. It wasn't Uncle Bob's Lucky 7 Club or something, but it was like along those lines, Saturday morning things. And then at most, I got as far as a few TVCs and commercials.
So this is what leads to your calendar.
No,
appearance.
it has nothing to do with that. That's totally different. But But yeah, it was like I started in the fourth. I think the audition was in the fourth grade, and then I started working by the fifth, and then that lasted until my voice changed. So that was only until the end of grade school. By the end of grade school, it was so hard, and my last sets of work were like the Milo Olympic double treat in 1996 for the Atlanta Olympics, and right before that, I think was Laser Caps and Whackers, which was their POG promo thing. But yeah, if I'm not careful, I can easily slip into what the lines were because there were a number of takes to get them right. Radio takes are hard because they'll be like, you have 10 seconds for this paragraph, and then please read, and then do it again, and then later, oh, we have budget for like 2 seconds for the DTI thing at the end. And then, oh my god, then you have to see it super, super, super fast. So that was interesting, and it was dangerous because I think I got like 2.5 a session, which is a lot for a kid in grade school.
Yes,
that became a lot of magic cards, comic books, whatever. I bought stuff. So yay!
As Noel says, great things start from small beginnings.
Yes, and then Urim was selling Lucky Me to sari-sari stores. How does that work? Were you representing the wholesaler? Because normally you buy from the sari-sari store. Pico was repacking marbles into packs of 5. That is a story.
Okay. I'm a bit surprised a lot of people actually are familiar with Sarangala magazine.
Hey, it was a lot. And then because a lot of schools, I feel like, had official, like, an official tie-up. Then because yeah, for our grade school, we would literally receive a letter like, do you want to subscribe to Charangola? So
yeah, subscription. That's how they get you.
The subscription was big, and it went to, I guess it had a DepEd connection, I'm sure.
Yeah, Aina Shares was a TV child actress, actual first job.
So not too far away from my voice talenting thing. Okay, so but those are like, I think in both cases feel a bit one-off-ish. So they weren't like career jobs and stuff. So in your case, what was your first then more longer term thing that you actually had to apply and stuff and things like that?
Okay, so after college, because I'm not counting the odd jobs like working in McDonald's or being a those little odd jobs. So
sorry, interruption. I kind of wish I had worked at McDonald's only because I want to understand how to wrap up burgers.
Oh, I never did that.
Oh,
I was a cashier guy.
My dad.
And by cashier guy, you don't touch the cashier.
Yeah,
you're just standing there and helping.
You're a runner basically.
Yeah.
No, my dad did like a full thing in McDonald's, and so like he would like after, like if you didn't finish a burger, then he would like rewrap it and like, oh, it looks so good, even though it was half a burger. That's a skill.
And there was that inner thing, that inner cup thing of paper, and then you put the wrapping around it.
Yeah.
Because the cup thing keeps the burger.
Well, that's only for Big Macs, right, and stuff like that. Okay. So anyway,
so first job thing, which was after college. So I won't count the assistant director stint I had in GMA when I was handling or trying to learn to be in the TV industry, because I then left for the States, studied film, and then came back. But as I got back, I ended up being the cashier in Sarangola Boutique. Sorry.
Sarangola has a boutique.
Boutique.
Oh, we should probably have like a disclaimer, like obviously anything we say does not represent the opinions of past and present employers or companies.
Of course.
These are strictly our own opinions and stories, and
may be colored by our memory.
Yes. So do not represent accurate depictions of any of the companies that may or may not be mentioned. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so
yeah,
you're a cashier again.
I seem to end up being a lot of the front facing jobs when I talk to people, and that was a job where I kept. I kept telling people they look good in the clothes they wanted to buy.
Oh my gosh, guys, it's the Rogue Mods people. Hi, how are you?
Hey, Rogue Mods!
Are you going to swarm us?
It's already starting, already at 23, see? But yeah,
how you doing?
so I was selling clothes. People would come in and they'd ask if things would look good on them, and I would be the one to share that I liked their choices. I liked what they were wearing. I smiled a lot.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and then after that, I eventually decided I really wanted a job, a real job, a job which I wanted to be in and would fight for. So I applied in. Oh my gosh, I forgot what it was called. I think it was the other channel of ABS.
What?
It was their MTV channel.
Channel B?
Was it Channel B?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Mix?
I think it was mixed. Anyway, I applied because I heard from my sister-in-law that there was an opening there. And while I was there, I took the test. I had my art portfolio.
Mm.
And I wasn't sure if it would be a good fit, but I tried anyway. And at the same time, I also applied to what was then known as ABS-CBN International for a writer's gig. So I finished the test in that music channel, and then I went to international for the other interview. And during that interview, while I was talking to one of the bosses there about the writer's job, the guy noticed my portfolio. And I was like, "So what's that?" And oh no, it's just artwork. Can I see? And then looks at it, and then leaves. And the next thing I know, the person who would eventually be my boss, then my first official boss in the job I went for, Beth, showed up and started asking me if I wanted to be an artist, if I wanted to do graphic design. One of the key questions was, "So can you work on a Mac?" And I'm like, "Sure, of course."
No, you don't know.
And decides to give me a test there and then, and that's when I discovered the mouse is not the same for the Mac. The Mac only had one button, and I was freaking out. So during the test, I spent most of the test using the help button to try to understand what I was doing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I landed the job, and I was dumb enough that on my first day at work, I came in a barong.
Why were you? Oh, big what?
I don't know. I felt I had to dress up formally for the job,
which is not terrible, I guess.
So
but, yeah.
I came in a long sleeve barong.
Okay, quick comment rundown. So David's first thing was coaching math kids for Ateneo, and then
that pays a lot.
My mentions that
Ateneo.
When kids, what are you trying to say? When kids own a retail store, kids' first job ends up selling there. In that case, yes, I was also the cashier for our drugstore for many years.
Yes, you were a drug dealer.
I learned a lot of over-the-counter medicine and some not so over-the-counter medicine applications.
Oh my God, Rogue Mods, Red 55.
Urim confirms they were a team of wholesalers. Noel said yes. Also, LaSalle had the Sarangola subscription option. Kenny said he didn't start until he was 16 when he started taking up art commissions. Urim was tutoring English for Koreans in Puerto Galera.
Oh my God, Noel adds he was kiddie crew at McDonald's one summer.
Oh wow, that's
Alfred says he offered credit cards.
Hey, that's hard.
There, Noel says mix. Yeah, it was mix. Thank you everyone who remembered it was mix.
I wonder who Pedro is and why does Rogue Mod think we should vote for Pedro? Okay. And then skimming down. Yeah. Okay. So mine. Okay. I have like two major career steps. That's why I feel like I have to jump back to Toby more. But
we're in the 60s now. Go on.
My first main thing was because upon leaving home, I really need to get a job. The only main skills to my name were the fact that I speak well and I write okay. So I ended up at a call center. Our friend was the recruitment person. So my first interview was a lie because we were just like, "Hey, how are you doing? Okay, you need to laugh right now. It looks like we're having a good conversation. Okay, let's do that." Yeah. So we had a bit of that. I still had to get through a second level interview and stuff, and that went okay. But my first job was on the phones. It was outbound sales for a long distance telephone company in the US. So that was hard. It was such an alien thing to be calling up people in the middle of the day and like, "Hey, do you want to switch long distance provider?"
So these are telemarketers.
It was literally telemarketing. And it was quite the learning experience. I grew up in trying to figure out sales. It was a little against my natural tendencies as an individual, but I got over it. And I stayed very long. And I think this will end up touching, someone requested to talk about call centers, and this is me. But I steadily worked my way up. Like my first goal was to get off the floor and get into QA, and I was able to do that in my first year. After that, I found my way into, strangely enough, operations, because the program transformed. I was the most knowledgeable person about the program, so they put me in charge of an escalations team. And we had no idea how this is gonna go. The escalations agents were just as tenured as all the other agents. Because the program transformed overnight. But it was a blast. And then from there, I went into training. And then from training, I finally ended up, I first ended up in process improvement, which was a weird QA-ish side tour. Process improvement is not fun if nobody else is invested in improving the process. So it's just a lot of I just supported audits mostly.
During your telemarketing stint, did you have those really super stressful calls?
Of course. And I felt I was the primary source of stress because I was calling people. I did enjoy outbound a bit more than inbound, only because outbound, you're kind of more in control, believe it or not, because you're the one calling. You kind of set the pace. If they hang up, that's the worst thing can happen. Then whatever. If they haven't hung up, you can keep going because why not, right? Until they hang up. So that was the philosophy on the floor. And I got pretty creative. For those who are wondering, my call name, for some reason, I ended up with Robert Miller because I wanted something that was still R. It was close to Rocky, so it wouldn't feel weird. And then I just chose Miller because it was one of the most common last names in the U.S.
Not because of the beer.
No. And more often than not, I would get callers who'd be like, I can't figure out where you're calling from, because my accent was neutral and kind of American, but it's not specific to any part. So, and I would just say it's California.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
I think Filipino accents get a lot of weird reactions sometimes from the States.
No, but because there's a lot to that you can't. That you can tell that they're not American. But I think I pass as American. I just didn't pass as any specific region. So,
real quick on comments. Yves, of course, is making me feel envious. He volunteered as a game coach in Puzzles, Alabama.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Kenny mentions his first commission was editing a video for a MOBA tournament. Oh, that's cool. But he was lowballed so bad, and that's normal. Okay.
Noel shares first actual job was at e-telecare, outbound sales. Oh my God, same Rocky. Ours was pushing SMEs to upgrade their website. Stayed only for 3 months. Couldn't handle the night shift.
Oh wow, I was on night shift up until I met Toby. Until Toby and I got together, and that was a little after.
Sorry. Noel adds, I'd reveal my call handle name, but that would reveal my alter account.
Oh, interesting.
I will hunt that down. Alfred shares, started his career in the BPO industry, has been in the industry 15 plus years. Currently in the same company for 5 years for a fitness gadget account. That's cool.
Pico was asking, why is it necessary to change names to that kind of a job? It's not necessary. And then some different programs have different rules on it. Some of them require that it's your real name. Some of them, it's okay to have pseudonyms, but you must register your pseudonym with QA so that it's consistent on the calls. I mean, in the early 2000s, it was the wild west of call centers because they were just booming out everywhere. So there were totally people. There was I had teammates who used call names like Tina Ryan. So there's Tina Ryan, and of course there's Tina Rantado. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. But these things got through. Okay. I do not miss night shift. I do not at all.
And of course, Julius adds, replying to Noel, I want to know.
And then Kenny already said it was Robert Miller. It was Robert Miller.
I can use that, Robert Miller.
No, yeah.
Okay. Robert Miller, I want to wash the dishes. So
don't encourage people. Okay. But I don't know. I survived the call center period mainly because of just sheer stubbornness and I'm a stayer. I mean, my mom ingrained in me early on that you must protect your resume and like what the shape of your career will look like. So at the very least, you have to get regularized, and so that's 6 months, and then it looks better if you stay at least a year. And then it just kind of stretched and stretched, and I just never left the call center for so long. And then I jumped through so many departments. I ended in marketing slash business development. I was mostly writing RFPs, those kind of responses to proposals. And my main advantage was that since I had been there for so long, and I was familiar with most, if not all, processes of different departments, teams, and the like, it made it easier for me to write proposal responses because I understood everything from support and tech and some of the IT stuff and whatever.
And I think in a similar way, that's why I eventually ended up in the job I'm in. Because from working at a, I was about to say telecom. No. From working at a company that basically produced shows.
A media company.
A media company. That included me eventually working on commercials and other collaterals for that company. I was there for a number of years, and part of my exposure was quite unexpected because I was part of the expansion of that channel to the different international arms: Europe, Japan, Middle East. And considering it was my first official job, I was like, whoa, I'm handling a lot of big things here. I had a lot of glimpses as well of the horror stories of working with certain celebrities, but we shall leave those unnamed. And eventually, I realized
go on.
Part of me wanted to try to continue doing film. So I started considering a more serious scholarship in the States to study film and all that. But then I fell in love, so I decided to cancel trips of going abroad. And no, that wasn't Rocky yet.
Yeah.
Then within months of having decided to quit my job, to cancel my trip, to give more time to the relationship, the family of the person I was dating back then had to migrate.
Oh.
So suddenly I was faced with the fact that I now was stuck here and I wasn't going abroad. And was I going to go abroad to follow after her and all this and that? Long story short, I decided to just focus on family business. And next thing you know, from media, I am handling medical transcription. I handled a team of people. I helped edit a lot of documents. And after a number of years...
But this is a family business.
Yes. So after a number of years of doing that, we eventually met. And I realized that if we were to move out and have our own place, I needed to earn more. I couldn't just rely on what I was earning. So I contacted an old college friend who had his own company. And I worked with him in the past in small odd rackets on advert gaming type of things. We made games for Axvice and other little products in the past. And I thought maybe I could, do some odd jobs every now and then to help supplement my income. It started with writing gigs for certain networks. I was doing their monthly call this.
Newsletter?
No. You know how there's those let's say TV channel
the channel
the
guides,
booklets and the like for cable TV and the like, and then they always have those write-ups for the shows.
Yeah.
So I was providing their write-ups, which they used to do and have someone write every month. But I was writing fast enough that I was doing quarterly. I'd give them enough for a quarter within the month, and they'd be like, okay, here's the next quarter, and I'd give it back within the same month. And it reached a point that I've given them enough for an entire year, so they didn't renew me. And my friend said, you know what, why don't you just work for me? And that was a lot of back and forth of me worrying if my parents would take it wrong if I left the family business to work full time.
Family business is hard.
But my friend kept insisting that they needed someone who could do game design. He could see I could handle it. And back then, I admit, I didn't know if I had what it took. I knew I loved games. I knew I liked playing. But I wasn't sure if I could translate it into something that others could use. But he believed in me, and I decided to trust him. And from part time, it became full time, and it has worked.
Yay.
Yeah.
And that's how Toby's in game design.
Mm-hmm.
It's mainly because he plays games. It's kind of true.
But yeah, but that was what I wanted to connect in terms of what you were saying. Because you were around for so long and you got exposed to all these systems and knew them and got to use them. In my case, it was, I'm someone who started playing with the Commodore 64 and the Atari back then. And it's exposure to games that old. And then all these different systems from the Sega Genesis to the Lynx to the Nintendo computers, Game and Watch, and all this and that. So with all those things I got exposed to, then add to that knowledge in film, knowledge in theater,
Yes.
understanding drama, understanding music. I did radio, I did writing for children's television in college. So all that sort of combined into this wonderful pot that is useful to draw from when I'm working on games.
It's cool. Quick comment thing. It's like what's this? Yerm, I guess, had a pseudonym also as Brad Leland. That's a tricky
Okay.
That's a tricky name.
And Urim, why does that sound like a vampire character?
A Leland is a little suspicious. David laments his resume because of the ABS-CBN shift. Don't worry about it. I mean, at least you have a way to explain it easily enough, and then that'll get you through.
And it's not your
any
fault.
Interviews. Yeah. But then was this? Kenny argues that you don't always have to disclose, and I mean it's plus and minus. Like if you leave a gap in your resume that's more than 3 months.
Yeah, I find that suspicious.
I start as an interviewer, I start asking so what were you doing there? Were you just doing nothing? And then I want to find out. Noel at the latter part was using celebrity names. Yeah, that happens a lot. I think for us in the early days, people were already using celebrity names and then had to use more decent names and then went back to celebrity towards the end. Yeah, nothing like a program closure to inspire creativity. Kuting has a long story. Started working in real estate, quit after 3 months because the allowance sucked. I mean, yeah, real estate's hard. And then online free writing, data entry, it's where she stayed. She tried BPO, but after 14 months, it's not for your temperament. But hey, 14 months is a respectable, at least you can really say that you tried.
Hey, Jen.
And then went back to data entry work, and you're thriving. Good for you. My her resume is crap. It's okay. It's recoverable. And as long as you have a decent way, as long as you're ready to explain it and defend it, then it's fine. And it's not bad to trim a resume down to highlight relevant experience only. Just be prepared to explain the gaps, or maybe set the disclaimer that I tailored the resume for this position.
I have a question. When does one shift from resume to circumvite?
Depends on how prissy you are. No, because a curriculum vitae is an educational. It's an education background, and then that's normally in chronological order, and it's a lot more detailed, and it's like everything. A resume is more condensed. It is focused on the position you're applying from, and it's typically reverse order. So your most recent job is on top, and then you work.
But when do you start working on having one or the other? I mean, I remember at one point I was always just resume, and then someone eventually asked me, "Why aren't you giving me a CV instead?" And I'm like, "Oh."
I don't. It really depends on the recruiter, but in my perspective, is that corporate jobs are, typically go with a resume. Keep it focused, keep it tight, keep it at 2 pages at the most. When it's a curriculum vitae, I think that's really more like graduate school programs, or it's a write-up because you are a panelist at a convention and you want to give the full gamut of your awards and whatever that you do. And then to be fair, there's a lot of misunderstandings about which is which, and the terms are used interchangeably.
Yes.
But I will always say resume, keep it tight, 2 pages. And if it's if it's more for academic positions, for research positions, like Pico points out for R&D, yes, then I think it makes more sense, because then you really have to detail I attended this, I attended that, I took this up, whatever. So very, very different. Yeah. So wait, how do I get to my current role?
Yes, your turn.
I am in digital marketing now, and I did not expect it to be. The main driver was my sister, who started a digital marketing consultancy with her then friend in Singapore. And they decided, after running the business for a while, strictly with freelancers for production support, that they wanted to have their own in-house talent for copywriting and design. And rather than setting up shop in Singapore or whatever, how about bring the work home to the Philippines, and then how about ask Rocky if he wants to get involved. So it was a little scary, especially since I'm a stayer. Like I said, I don't like rocking the boat.
This was super change.
It was a big change. It was a different industry. I was giving up my relatively cushy corporate BPO job to start a business, and it was really like, you're gonna have to set up the office and figure it out. Oh my gosh! And that was 2015. But it was a struggle, but it worked out. And I know that a lot of friends and work colleagues warned me about the dangers of working with family. But my sister and I have a wonderful relationship, so that was a bonus. And we are still working together. I'm still working with the same company.
You have much more time.
The first thing was like, oh my God, I'm working in the day, which was a miracle after working night shift for more than 12 years. And then, yeah, it's been a growing experience in many ways. And then like figuring out my rigid corporate BPO self was a little too much for the more creative, freewheeling culture we were trying to create. So I had to kind of step it back. But I'm still ultimately the process guy and the head geek guy. So I'm really more operations now. But then with a good understanding of digital marketing principles. And it also helped me translate my general love for Google into a work skill.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason. Actually, that's the reason why I started the Geeky Guide, one of my blogs, because I made it just because I wanted to play with Google Analytics and Google AdSense. And that worked out. And now I'm like, I have to maintain my Google certifications now for GA, Google Ads, and whatnot. And that's my professional. That's my life. That's my bread and butter. That's cool.
So in some ways, we're reverse or inverse of each other.
In what sense?
I started with a family business, and then I shifted out. You went the opposite way. But in the same token, we both got to where we are because there was someone who believed in us more.
Yes, that is a fair analogy, if any. And that kind of works out. And then I guess and then it just goes back to, does this have anything to do with what I was taking up in university? No, not directly. Do you feel like your job reflects your university background?
In some ways, it was communication art.
That's true. It's a bit more generic.
It sort of still fits in, although it was supposed to be commerce marketing, and I flunked my marketing. I'm so bad. I'm so bad at algebra. But yeah, I think it sort of connects. So
I was a computer engineering student, so I don't know. I can't program for my life. I still hate debugging.
So can you imagine, we could have like taken such different paths in life. I mean, I could have been working on films. I'd be now this guy with films on Netflix and stuff. And then you'd be
or also trying to pitch a BL series for YouTube. I don't know.
I probably would have created BL like years back.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay.
And then you'd probably be programming.
Computer engineering is not just programming, but it's making programming for machinery.
Yeah, so you'd be probably doing what?
I was hoping to make a robot, That's the goal, right? I'm a Transformers fan. Naturally, I wanted to make robots. That was the direction I was heading for.
Hey, spoiler shark. Rocky wanted to make a robot.
Didn't happen.
Comments?
Yeah, Kenny also agrees that a CV doesn't make sense on an entry to junior level job, in his opinion. And it really just depends on the industry and the recruitment person.
Jed shares was supposed to manage a family business, but
ran away to Manila to get a production. Wow.
That's why parents taught us laro laro. Freelance for the first time, then got hired as a director for GMA. Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yay. Because I did not connect to her work. I did not connect to his work, but not. I did connect to his work, but not greatly. Computer engineering is difficult. Yes, yes. I remember all the just circuit diagramming and trying to figure out how you would get the right pulses with and, NAND, NOR, gates, whatnot. Oh my god! So it was a life.
Were there certain jobs you were thinking of getting or nearly diverted to?
Not really. I mean, I thought I would do more writing in my life. I tried changing call centers once. I tried applying for Dell when they were setting up shop. But it was the most horrendous interview with I will just say, non-local interviewer, to be a little sensitive there. And I know I flubbed the interview, but I also didn't like the guy, so I don't mind. And then there was one other time where I was considering like working in another call center, and I was applying as a TQM, as a training and quality manager. And then I was a little annoyed that one is that I had to interview in the day, which is hard when you're coming from night shift.
Yes.
And then two was like they wanted me to do a training demo. And then like, really? It's a TQM role and I'm doing a training demo? And like it just felt weird. Not that training is beneath me. I love training, but it just felt weird.
Did it feel like they were just trying to, see how far they can push you to do this?
I don't know. As far as evaluation criteria went, it didn't feel right. So I never went back. I never went back for the next interview. It's like, yeah, didn't feel like it was already difficult to get to the location, and then that's okay. Then that led to me shifting to marketing and business development at the last call center I was at. Other things, because I could have been an IT graduate, but ran out of slots. And then mine's like I took up EE thinking I could make a robot, particularly robotic prosthetics. That's cool. Kenny, course was generic. I could be almost anywhere. Multimedia arts. Yeah, that. But is that where you? And I don't want to probe here on chat. We should talk about it later. But yeah, I appreciate a lot of the multimedia arts programs when we're hiring designers, especially. No tea, no shade, but really, Benil produces some great designers who are like well-rounded and disciplinary.
Because there is a difference between a designer and an artist.
But then many self-proclaimed artists do not realize this when they apply for designer jobs.
And they're like, but I don't feel like working on this one right now. I don't care. You're a designer.
David reacts, of course, to my statement of non-local interviewer, and I will not repeat his next comment. Okay. Yeah. So, anything else? But that's our little work history without anything. And I'm super happy where I am. I hope there are days you're stressed, but are you still happy where you are?
Yeah, well, the job is always stressful because game design is never as fun as playing games, which is again another issue. Just like artists and graphic designers are different things, making games and playing games are different things. And when you are making a game, you have to be a designer in many ways because you are solving problems. You are targeting experiences and you want to make sure that the user feels those experiences. So that includes working on games that you don't think are fun because you are not the target market. And that's what many who get into the industry don't quite get. They work on something and they're like, oh, this isn't fun anymore because I thought I'd be making games. And I'm like, but it's, just because you're making a game doesn't mean you'll be playing when you're doing it. And yes, there are times that it will be super fun the whole time while you're working on it, but you can't expect every project to be like that.
Yeah. And at one point, work will always be work. It's great that when you enjoy it, you're going to enjoy a lot of it, but there will always be aspects of it that you're just going to have to get done. Noel highlights he loved his third job. He got to travel. Account manager, trading manager for an international MLM, but lost all his photos on Multiply. You should have done that weird multiply saving
Yeah.
effort.
Eric. Oh, hi, Eric. Asks, do
Do
you
you
think
think your final form?
work-wise, or is there something else you want to pursue? I personally feel that, okay, when it comes to creating games, I already call it my ikigai. It's this Japanese term which is defined as your reason of existence.
Mhm.
I know that making game experiences is what makes me happy. It's what fulfills me. Is that limited to mobile games? No.
Mm-mm.
I think it's basically making game experiences in general is what makes me happy.
Gamification included.
So whether it's tabletop games, role-playing games, whether it's board games, card games, or mobile games, as long as I'm coming up with ways that games enhance or give you new things to experience, then that is what I love doing. So do I feel I'm in my final form? No, only because I want to reach a point that I can literally work on games, even in the sense of coding them myself.
Oh, you want to get into programming?
Not that I want to get into programming, but I want to be able to get the other games in my head out. And I know sometimes it's either I become rich and popular enough that I can have a full team devoted to what I want.
There's like drag and drop programming, right?
I know
like
exactly.
the
And that's what I'm tempted
programming.
to find time to get into, but I'm really also an old dog now, and learning new tricks can
It's
be
okay,
hard.
you're my old dog.
You, same question. Do you feel you're in your final form?
Yeah. I think that now that I have found the enjoyable experience of working with my sister and the friend who is now her husband, so my brother-in-law, I cannot imagine not working together now. So in terms of like the working arrangement, it's definitely I will always want to work now with my sister. We and I like this digital marketing agency. I don't necessarily know if this is like all there is to explore. It's a continually changing industry. So digital marketing today may not be the same as it is in 5 years. So I can't necessarily say it's my final form. But I think what I am committed to is that as long as that there is a possibility, I want to continue to work with my sister. That's awesome. Kenny reacted that it's lucky if you're getting the good art designer from Benil. Yeah, I think we got a good number. Another interesting school, Asia Pacific College. That always that stands out. They have great people. Okay.
Hi Angelo. It's funny to see you.
Play less when you enter the game industry.
That's true.
It does happen.
Unless you're QA. Unless at least you're playing everything.
My project when you're not the target market isn't always fun. Haha, but
true.
work is work.
And that's the thing. It applies to every type of job.
Yeah.
Right? But sometimes people are really young and they feel as if certain jobs are a certain experience. I mean, it applies even to theater or graphic design
or writing.
Just because you don't like horror doesn't mean you can't work on a horror show if you're working in a production company, for example.
I mean, you don't always get to choose.
Yes. Angela adds, always say to others that the game industry is more about documentation and problem solving rather than playing. That's true. Noel shares, when you're young, what's your ideal job or profession? I thought I was going to be a priest. I'm serious.
I know.
I was a very religious young boy, and eventually I became more spiritual than religious. But yeah, I really had plans of becoming a priest. At one point, I wanted to be a doctor, but then I realized I could not stand real blood.
Yes, you cannot.
But then I discovered I loved horror.
Which is strange, because the blood is very fake.
So the moment I realized it's real wounds, I'm, yeah. You?
And then, I didn't have like a firm, like passionate, I want to be this when I grow up, when I was young. So my default answer was always doctor, because I knew it was a parent-approved answer. That, okay, I want to be a doctor. In fact, I would push it and say neurosurgeon, because it was the more difficult one. And if you are growing up with your parents telling you how smart you are, and that then you should shoot for the moon. But then I realized that, and I will blame the corruption of the Ateneo education experience, is that I did not know how I was going to become a doctor in this country and ask poor people for money.
Yes.
I'm not even kidding. It was like that thought of, oh my God, I don't think I can ever work in this field and ask people to pay me when I know that they're so hard up.
Or worse, turn them away because they can't pay you.
So that kept me out of medicine. That, and I didn't want to study so long. Okay, so
a few more comments.
Kenny's like, do you guys have plans career-wise when you get older? Like, what would you guys do in your senior age? I think the dream is not to work or to only work on things you want to do. So it is to move away from employment and more like
passion projects
and stuff.
And that's when you have teams. So like for me, it might be like we have our beautiful island that has the.
I don't want to be on an island.
Wait, let me finish. That island that's away from the people we hate. That has the compound with all the people we love. And
you make it sound like Guantanamo for friends. And then, like, sorry guys, then we're putting you on our island.
And then I'd be like, love, I'll just work on some games, and then I'll walk to that side of the island where I have my teams there, and they all start following me as I start talking. Romance visual novel for robots.
I think my long term is like then I just want to become the product in the sense I want to talk. It's like I want to be like my mom and like I want to give talks at conventions and stuff and like, be that person who's invited to industry events.
Sorry, I just saw Pico, right? Kabaduyat Kingdom. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so Pico also wants to explore other aspects of IT and then
Angela, yes,
visual scripting, Unity both.
I shall have to learn it someday.
What else?
I have priest glasses, according to Kenny.
I think they could be smaller for the full priest experience.
Yeah,
and then
I'll have to.
David's, I still want to be a doctor, just the PhD kind now. That's valid. I didn't think about that. Oh, see, more than one person at the doctor is the default. And look, and hey everyone, Anak is here. Hi.
Hey, Anak. I mean, many default to doctor because lawyer, while having just as much prestige and
like
money.
Noel points out, doctor or lawyer.
Yeah, but lawyer also has the negative connotation to some people.
Yes,
like, don't be a lawyer. Lawyers are evil.
Lawyers kind of slimy, and I known this early on.
And that seems to be the way parents tend to talk about the two jobs, unless the parent was a lawyer.
And then it's like a noble profession.
Yeah, and they'd be like, no, anak, don't be a doctor. Doctors are be a lawyer na lang.
Yeah. And then apparently I will have people to make robots.
Oh my God, Angelo, priest ka rin sa Saturn. I shall.
This is true. Okay. Kenny, is he the only one who wants to be a scientist? That's cute, but I feel like I don't know. Wanting to be a scientist feels like a very grade school thing. And then it takes a certain discipline of people to like really commit to like, I am going to get into science. And then suddenly I'm studying food tech.
I will admit that I did not believe that scientist was a job when I was young.
Oh, really?
I thought that there were teachers who were into science or professors who were into science.
And they upgrade into researchers.
And no. And if you're not stuck there, then that's it. You do other jobs because the real jobs are doctor, lawyer. There weren't any scientist jobs.
Yeah,
and that's how same with like mathematicians and all that.
Or anything with forensic.
Anything academic. I did not see it as a job.
Guys,
I saw it as just school.
Commercial.
Oh yeah.
We finished Forensic Files.
But how many seasons?
9 collections, not seasons. The last collection was like 40-something episodes.
So we know about Luminol.
I'm so sad that we ended. It's like it just came out of the blue and like, oh, we're over. We're ended. Okay. Eric asked, would you work together, like running a business together? I mean, it's possible.
I'm always worried.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know if that's our relationship because I already see how cranky Toby gets while we're working at home. And like, oh man. And then I have a difference of opinion of how I would handle things.
Yeah, and admittedly, I handle things coming from that director mindset, which I was, into in my younger years, especially in college, working on films and the like. It was a lot of raising your voice to get things done because people are not listening because there's so many people working at the same time. So I've been trying to temper that, and yeah.
I mean, I semi-tried in the sense that I tried to help boost Toby's social media for tag sessions when he was like super pushing out games in the first few years, and then I think that was okay. But then it wasn't like a full press. But I did make demands of like, Toby, I need a Facebook cover, and these are the dimensions.
I need you to do something by now.
I need you to I need you to post something. I need you to think about it. I need you to stop posting on your private, on your personal wall, and post on your page, and then reshare that.
And I think for me, ultimately, I would not want to be in the same business with you, because then
all our eggs in the same basket.
Can you let me finish?
Meow, 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 meow.
We did not rehearse this.
Okay, Noel's like, you remember when he's young, he wanted to work for Google after seeing their video tour of their workplace.
I think everyone
like seriously that or Lego when I saw their history video. Yeah, I thought I was aiming to work at Google too.
Google, when it showed its office videos, was like showing Disneyland for people who work.
Yeah.
It was like sobrang,
but it's Disney for engineers.
Yeah, it's like, look, if you work here, the ref is open for everyone.
Yeah.
We have indoor swimming pools. I mean, come on, who would not want to work there, even if you had nothing to do that is related to that workplace?
Kuting says she wanted to be a novelist or an artist, but pressure from authority sent her into the sciences, and then landed me with, well, a different thing, but trying to be a poet, better late never. Yeah, it's never too late to get into creative ventures.
Yeah, and I think writing, whether it's creative writing or, serious writing in the sense if you want to do nonfiction novels and the like, I don't think that's something you can ever outgrow. I think it's something you can always dive into. And I think the first thing you have to really accept is the fact that you have to just write what you want to write. And if there is an audience, they will find you.
Yeah, David points out, I'm sure you can collab perfectly, although collab has connotations, David. But I doubt your romantic partner matches your business partner 100%. And I think that's true. And again, we're trying to diversify assets. I mean, my parents are stressed enough that I decided to work with my sister, and that put our eggs in one basket. But we're doing okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's not add Toby. It will stress them out further.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just stick to my magical envelopes.
Yes. The mafia envelope.
Anyone else? I guess
Pico also agrees that relationship doesn't have to involve a work relationship too. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's definitely room for us to continue to work together, create together. But then I don't think it should be our primary source of income. Like, especially that to maintain the geeky life that we are accustomed to. We'll keep things a bit more spread out. Noel was like, musician. I just got the pressure going up. Didn't want to be in the shadow of my great grandlolo. Interesting.
Yeah, but now that you're rocking the Wham look, Noel, that's potential there.
Yay! Is the hair. Okay.
Mafia envelopes from Pico. So, magic envelopes from David.
So this is a fairly long discussion of work.
Yeah, and it was nice getting a lot of people interacting. I was surprised at the numbers, to be honest.
Hey, it's a very relatable topic. Everybody has to think about what they do. And then,
okay, I have a question.
All right, what's your question?
When do you think you will choose to retire?
Ooh, I think I'm always going to do something. I mean, I may try to stop being employed or actively running a company someday.
Does that include family business? Because that's what this is now. I mean, when people say I want to stop being employed, that normally means
put up your own.
I'll stop being an employee.
In my case, like, I want to stop being responsible for so many people. So like, if anything, it'll just be like, hence the whole. I want to write books. I want to give talks. I want to be a speaker.
Knowledge.
Yeah. That kind of thing. Inspirational, aspirational. Baduy Pride, the TED Talk series. I don't know.
Baduy Pride, the network.
Oh, wow. No,
not the business side of the
network. That sounds like work.
But just the...
Yeah. So, something like that. Like, I wouldn't mind doing that. But I don't think I'm going to just... I don't know. It's going to be a long time before I'm going to be able to sit still, I think. We're wired... I think our whole family is wired to, like, remain productive for a long time. So I don't know. Or at the very least, I will be writing like mad, and I will want to have a series of books or something and wonderful passive royalty income, assuming we're still earning money from literature at that point. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe the democratization of information will push fully, and all creative ventures are free somehow, but fairly compensated. I don't know. I don't know how it works. Capitalism is a problem.
That's true.
Yeah. So for you, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I used to think that I was starting to move towards possibly retiring and just making games on my own and doing them on a pace I want and not having to worry about um, making games for other people unless they were games I wanted to contribute to.
Mm.
But well, that's not currently a avenue that I'm diving into. So then the pandemic, of course, changed everything.
Pandemic.
And everything changed.
I just raised my hands. I don't know what to do.
And I think, I guess retirement suddenly has, for me, somewhat changed its definition.
Because
Wherein I don't see myself ever stopping wanting to work. Because I like how work keeps you doing things. You know how vacations feel they're too long sometimes, even if you want to take a vacation.
yeah,
The
we're
moment
not
it's
big
like
vacation.
the moment it's like 2-3 days, you're like, oh my god, why am I still in vacation? And it's weird, but at the same time,
we are terrible at the beach.
Yeah,
we're all checking email.
I think we've started to find joy in doing work.
We like the work,
but we want to be able to do it at the pace that we prefer.
That's true.
And
I think that's the main thing.
And that
work
means,
would be so much better without clients or something like that. Like
or at
some
least
big
working
thing.
with teams that you can rely on for the long haul. You know these are people you'll be with across the years to come, and I know it's a dream, because the reality is people come and go in jobs for different reasons. It's not necessarily because they don't like the work, and sometimes there's
people just move on.
Better
Why do you
opportunities.
Why do you think I'm only banking on my sister?
Different location, or sometimes it's a personal thing, like the wife suddenly got a job elsewhere, so now the guy has to stay home and watch the kid, and it's all these possible reasons. But to be able to say you've come to a point wherein the people I'm with now, I know we're all in this long haul
together.
We don't have to worry about and I think that's what retirement is for me, and it's now more a goal than a date.
I think, and then we'll see. I mean, it doesn't help. Like me, I see my mom. She's still working very hard, and then she cannot also imagine like when she's not going to work.
Yeah.
Good thing. Ask, what passion projects would you pursue if you have time, especially if you want to be active in your later years? So me, it's definitely creative writing. I don't know if that's going to pan out, but I think creative writing.
Are you seeing it as like a series of novels, or individual books, or a connected series of novels?
I'm open to either, but I do like connectivity, because as a reader, I am happy knowing when it's a series, because then I can buy it. It has its own revenue continuity because I want to finish the series. So there is that. But then, or I don't know if it's just going to be a lot of this. Like maybe this is it. Maybe this is my venue, and then I just want to create YouTube videos or something, and just keep. But I do want to continue to put my words and thoughts out there somehow. What about you?
Well, I've already started. I've taken the plunge in terms of trying to release my own game.
That's true.
And, I'd like to think I've accomplished a lot in the first few years of doing so, and I'm less now in wanting to see if I can make a difference or make a mark in the industry, and more just wanting to just find more time to do it more often. So I think what I would like to do is to be able to come up with something that actually connects with enough people to the point that I'm not just getting pirated, because that's already happening, but that I'm actually getting ripped off. That people are now making games and claiming it's their own, but it's actually mine.
Okay.
I'd love to see that.
Toby says he's getting pirated. It doesn't mean that he's being taken in by other companies. He means that people have released unofficial copies of his work on the internet on different sites.
And Tabletop Simulator.
And then so his goal now is that someone will just blatantly steal his system and say it's their own.
Yeah.
Okay. Was this Pico has this whole, he wants to retire with a testing job at his own pace. Kenny's plan is teaching, and I think David agrees. Mitch also relates to checking email on vacation. It's a terrible habit, but things have to keep going.
Jed asked,
Write a script or screenplay. I don't know. A script as a screenplay writing is very different than just story writing. And I think the only like pseudo screenplays I wrote were back in high school, because in first year we had to write a one-act play. In second year we had to write a radio play. In third year was also a one-act play. Sorry, I had a weird teacher in the first year. So I mean, I got into that experience, and we had that exposure. But I don't necessarily feel like it's like the writing I'm most comfy with. But who knows? Who knows? I mean, like, I feel weird about dialogue in my creative fiction stuff. I always feel like when I have long pages of dialogue, it starts to feel awkward, and then you're running out of ways to say "he said." Remarked,
I get that.
Reacted, it starts to get weird, but it happens.
Whenever I have those moments, I find myself reading authors I like, just to see that they
you do?
They do use it often as well, and you realize you can't avoid it.
Yeah. So I mean, I as long as I am writing, I think I'll be okay. As much as I blog a lot, I don't feel this is the fulfillment I am looking for. It makes me feel good. It helps me process my day, but it's not quite the final writing I want to be doing. I'm trying.
But at least writing is right for you. Right?
Yes, just less punny writing.
My right hand will tap you. I still have the right. And that was more than 30 minutes. Wait, are we closing?
11 years of this. 11 years of this.
And almost 12 in a few days.
No,
well, we're counting it that way.
No, isn't it officially our 11th this November? It's officially our 11th.
See, I get confused. We're not counting. Yeah.
Yeah. We're turning 11.
Yeah.
So
sorry, I always get confused.
Memory loss is common in the Blue City. Okay. Before we wrap up, a few things. One is that we're taking active steps to set up guestings for some of the Odivas. So we already have Precious confirmed for Friday the 13th. Yes. So that's cool. We have not finalized our anniversary episode plans per se, because our anniversary falls on a Tuesday, which is a terrible day to do a long stream. It seems better to do a long stream either on a Friday or a Saturday. But then we kind of had this loose, like, Nico is supposed to interview us, but then I don't want him to skip work. So that means we're going to have to do it on a Saturday. So do we do it the Saturday before our anniversary or after? Oh, wow. Because both dates are far from the anniversary, right? It's either the 14th, which is quite soon, or the 21st.
Yes.
So I don't know. I'm not sold on it yet, but we want to do something.
Or maybe we'll do stuff on both days. It's just that the one for Nico will be when it's more convenient for him.
Yeah.
And then we might still have something on. Yeah.
We have to because we have to figure out schedules.
We've also sent out feelers to other possible guests. We'll let you know once we have a better
I'm not
idea.
gonna mention them until they're confirmed. So I don't want to jinx it.
But some of those might affect when we will do certain topics.
Yeah, so there are topics that have been sitting in the queue for a while. Puting suggested Saturday before. 14. Nico, what do you think? Are you free on the 14th? Because we're doing it's just okay lang. We're doing Precious on the 13th. So that becomes like this anniversary extravaganza.
Salubong.
Again, 11 years of this. Okay, so Kenny's like, is it RuPaul? No, I don't think we'd ever want RuPaul on this show.
But if RuPaul chooses to be a guest, why not?
Yeah, so it's more if RuPaul chooses to ask to be on it. I don't think we're gonna ask RuPaul to be on it.
Yeah,
there's a difference. Yan is Nico. Hi, nako. Yeah, Nico's had to put up with this for 11 years now. Modern Family, something like that. That Nico's the interviewer, and then we'll most likely just guest guest loop him in or something.
And God knows what Nico will choose to ask us.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've been joking about this for a few weeks now, so he's going to prepare.
But as always, the show will always be totally unscripted.
Yeah. So we don't know what the questions are. Of course, Noel's like, Michelle Visage. So are we sticking to this fandom? I'm like, again, I think Michelle's in the same boat. If she asked to be on the show, sure. If what's this? If I don't think we're gonna ask her.
But if we ever get to the point that we have, hundreds of people watching us, and every time we do an episode, maybe we'll start inviting like Jake Gyllenhaal or Russell Tovey. Just
I like how we aimed immediately for all foreign stuff. Like, what about the local people?
Oh, we invited them once we hit like 50. Because we have to gain steam before we invite them, right? It'd be embarrassing to ask, some celebrity to show up and then.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we have 10 people.
At least we're inviting first people we personally know, because at least it's a small meaningful gathering.
Nico says he's okay on 14 or 15. Okay, so we have options, and then David suggests that Nico should take questions, and Nico will definitely do that. So if you have questions for the anniversary episode, I guess you have to make friends with Nico and reach out to him. Or if you can use the usual form and we'll forward it to him. But that would spoil it. Noel's like Truth or Dare Part 2 live. No, that's only for...
That's not for the show.
That's for Saturday drinking after.
That's for the other show.
Yeah, Nico, I'll let you figure out your survey para we don't have copies of the questions.
That's for the show with Mr. Miller.
David, of course, is like, Carlo Vergara guest joke.
No comment.
And then Kuting says, interview with Tito Boy. Why? I don't know. I don't think that's our thing. Okay.
But we'll see.
Well, nothing is impossible in this world. And and because of quarantine, anybody can interview anyone over the internet. So it's kind of cool. But yeah. So, wow, Nico. I don't know, Pico is like Alter Noel stories.
Okay. Pico, that's a different show.
I think
and that's not on this channel.
Just need to talk, Oh my gosh. Alter Baduy Pride. No, Kenny. I don't think people are prepared for that. I think Nico is already a good gauge of how much of us he can tolerate, so he will steer it away.
Yeah, and if there were an Alter Baduy Pride, Kenny, we wouldn't say there was one.
It would not be us. It could be anonymous and
and that means we made it because someone's ripping us off. Anyway,
and Nico agrees he can invite friends to join the stream. Yeah, we can we can do guest questions. That's fine. Although we'll have to manage the technical side, here's the link to join and stuff. Yeah, things like that. Wow, okay, but that's cool. So we're excited about. So this is heads up for that. This Friday, I don't know yet what we're gonna do. We haven't. I was hoping for a guest, but then no confirmations yet. So we'll just have to figure out the topic. As usual. Wow, thanks. This was a surprisingly long Tuesday episode.
Yeah.
About work. What does that say about us, ladies and gentlemen? We all tuned in and invested a lot of time to talk about our jobs.
And we didn't get bored doing it.
And we didn't really get bored about it, no. Because you kicked it off really well by making us all remember Sarangola Magazine. Yay. Okay. Yeah, so I guess that's our wrap up. Let's wind it up.
That's more than 30 minutes. We had a lot of fun, and we hope you will join us again next time.
Should you have questions or suggestions for future episodes, you can fill up the bit.ly form at Baduy Pride Ideas. But I guess if you have questions specifically for the anniversary episode, please contact our anak Nico. He is on the YouTube stream. He commented on the Facebook stream. You'll find him. He's a great guy. Okay, and then of course you can follow us on Twitter. He is Altobi No Shade. I'm RG Sunico.
You can also check out our blog. That's baduypride.com for all the previous episodes and stuff about us.
Yep. Feel free to continue the conversation in the comment section below and let us know about your colorful career stories. How are you recovering from a inconsistent resume, or are you adhering to the fact that it must be a CV?
Have you made retirement plans? Do you have all the eggs in one basket?
Things we kept saying in this episode. All right. And then be sure to subscribe for notifications, whether on Facebook or YouTube, so you don't miss our next live stream. Once again, I'm Rocky.
And I'm Toby.
And this is Baduy Pride. Have a great work week ahead.
Work, work, work.
Your long weekends are over. I didn't have one. Bye.
Thanks for watching.